What's going on YouTube? Charger Benny here, and welcome to 100 Days Surviving the Center using only Spinos. Now the goal for this is to beat the boss. I chose Spinos because as a dino, it's kind of mid-tier, but does have its perks. It's not as tanky as a Rex, but it does have good DPS. Also has the water perk, which is very nice. So not too hard and not too easy for my first ever 100 Days challenge. Now, also, you will notice that the video quality changes at some point. For the first little while, it looks like I recorded on a potato, but it does get fixed. That being said, I hope you guys enjoy. This took me a very long time to make, so if you could, please leave a like and subscribe. It would really help me out. Now, without further ado, I give you 100 days on the center using only Spinos. We spawn in day 1. Scratch our wrists for the first time out of about 100 in this whole video. Take a look around and notice a wild degenerate harassing some dodos. We then decide to go all Mike Tyson on this tree. Collect some infinity stones, and play a game of fisticuffs with this other tree. We craft ourselves a pickaxe because apparently it's a very valuable tool to have. Discard all the trash in my inventory, and then proceed to absolutely obliterate Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Use his entrails to craft a hatchet, and look up to see none other than the spawn of Satan himself prowling the beaches. Got some pretty useful stuff from a white drop. Decided to place it all down and make some food. I then take a hatchet and dispatch Professor Oak. Gather some fiber from the nearby fauna. Craft ourselves a thatch foundation, so now we have a very temporary fob. I collect my food from the campfire. Make a storage box to store my heavy items. Gather some more infinity stones. Chop down Groot's child. Murder a tiny birdman for his skin. And then see an even bigger degenerate than before, also harassing dodos. Craft a bullet to defend myself. And apparently our raptor friend was very offended by the bola that I just put in my pocket. Then show off my absolute god tier bola skills to a birdman. And then proceed to shove 6 arrows into his eye socket. And then harvest his body as a sacrifice to my soon-to-be refining forge. We craft ourselves a forge, and then apparently scare away our raptor friend, who should be more than willing to try to eat my entrails.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
And then he came back to beef with me, and I showed him who the true alpha was. Get wrecked, nerd. We harvest his skin, and for some reason, this predator had a bunch of berries in his inventory slot, wherever that is on a dinosaur. We then craft ourselves a raft and prepare to move away from this hellhole Yeah, I also forgot to turn on the structure pickup, but it does get turned on later. Anyways, we place our raft, set sail, and then through the unholy fog that is on the center, I notice a massive whale beelining towards me. Because he's got beef with my boat, I don't know how a whale would have beef with an inanimate object, but sure. Luckily, I'm able to swerve him, and we eventually do get safely to shore. Oh my god, we made it. Climb the stairs to my new and also very temporary base location. Get started by crafting and placing some foundations to place down my forge, among some other things. Then start some metal smelting. Gather some more materials. Craft a slightly bigger storage box. Get a few more foundations. As well as a smithy. Get a bit more metal from the river rocks. And we are finally able to craft ourselves a metal pick. I remember one of the things that were so bad about this game. This drop is terrible. Got ourselves a drug maker, mortar and pestle. Finally get ourselves a metal hatchet to upgrade our stone and wood gathering. Also get ourselves some hide armor so we aren't running around looking like a gym bro. I then decide to run inland a bit to get some more metal, but on the way there, we ran into a little bit of chaos. Apparently, our raptor friend had some colleagues that knew I was on the way up here. So I had to put him in his place. Then my spidey senses were tingling as I narrowly dodged some webs from an incoming attacker. Unloaded some arrows into his face, and then proceeded to lead him over to a couple of stegos so that they could finish the job. I'm just gonna let them duke it out. Please don't hit me. That's a lot of kite. Until your tail moves out of the way. After harvesting the spider, we went a little further up to gather some more metal. We made it back home. I grabbed some of the metal from the forge. Made myself a crossbow. Got a crop plot for narco berries. Also had a friend playing on the server. He was doing his own little survival series of his own. By the way, the seed maker mod is a little OP, but I only use it for a few things that don't normally have seeds, so yeah, I don't want to make it too easy on myself. Make ourselves some pipes. And then make ourselves a very questionable irrigation system. Arc snap points. Gotta love them. Then gather a metric ton of berries. We get ourselves a much needed armor upgrade. We craft ourselves up a bunch of arrows, and it's time to go look for our first Spino. Make sure we lace those arrows with melatonin. Take a look around, make sure there's no degenerates nearby. Get a pretty nice sickle out of this purple drop. Yes, exactly what I want. Then decide to take a trip on foot around the island because I'm just a little faster. And then I come back and see what I've been looking for.
I will douse you in gasoline and ignite it into a fiery, sacrificial display of immolation from my own satisfaction, you stupid, idiotically Burman.
It's a very low level and it is almost dead. I was real worried here that it was going to end up dying. But honestly, at this point, I would take a low level just to have something to get around on. Then place down our trap, which funnily enough was not even needed for this. Unload some NyQuil laced arrows into that man. Why he is moving so slow, I don't know. I think he's out of stam and he's just not regenerating. We eventually do get him knocked out. And you can see by my celebration there, I was very happy. Place down a storage box just to hold some stuff on the raft. And then we do need some meat, so I do dispatch this innocent little parasaur. And got attacked by piranhas on the way out of the water. We shoved some meat down the Spino's esophagus. Only took a few minutes, and he was tamed. We name him Rusty Spoon, because that's kind of what his purpose is. He's about as useful as a rusty spoon. Then we make the long trip back home on foot, because I did not want to risk taking him in the water and him getting swarmed by piranhas. He's also moving very slow even after the tame. I did figure out that he was just kind of bugged when he ran out of stamina, so I just pumped a level into stam and it fixed it. As you can see, he's much faster now. We then make it back home, put our little Spino in his parking spot. Where he also decides to take a dump. Then go up the hill and grab ourselves some crystal to make a spyglass with. An awesome spyglass, because I won't play without it. We then murder all the local trilobites on the beach. I then steal this man's dodo kill, just for the hell of it. Craft up some cementing paste, because we are going to need a toilet for fertilizer. Go back to murdering trilobites. Get ourselves some more cementing paste. Gather up some more metal. Place all of our heavy materials into the smithy, and we can now craft a toilet. And of course we place it down, and the first thing we do with it, immediately relieve ourselves. We then notice a weirdo dragging a dead turtle into my base. And watch that man duke it out with Bowser. We craft ourselves up some NyQuil. Also some foundations. Get those placed down to expand our base. Craft up some more melatonin lace arrows, as well as a bed. Place a bed down so we actually have a place to respawn. Get ourselves some more foundations, and then most of this is going to be sped up. We kind of just finish out the base. So I guess this would kind of be a good time to talk to you guys about this. It's my first ever 100 days challenge. It's my first time editing a video of this length. So just kind of bear with me, and I'm trying. The editing does get a little bit better towards the end, and I'm sorry. And also, my original plan for this was to do the boss fight on Alpha. However, I made a very dumb mistake, and that does not end up happening. So, I'm sorry. Maybe we'll retry the challenge again at some point, and we'll do it on Alpha. But for now, I did my best. Bear with me. We finished our walls and then went to go physically assault some more rocks so I can make some more gates for another trap, because we do need a higher level Spino. We were able to craft a couple, and we go back out, get some more stone as well as some wood. We also get some materials from this white drop. Make the last couple gates, as well as another bear trap. Then we lay down in our bed so the next day we can go on the hunt. We get up the next day, collect our bearings. Just take a second to figure things out. We grab our trap from the smithy. Grab some food off the campfire. Check on our old rusty spoon. Set out to our raft. Jump on. And go on the search for a high level Spino. Now I do find this very low level, level 25, which is not gonna do us any good. Then see some oil in the depths below. So we harvest up some of that oil. Place it in the storage box. And up here, I thought about going to Iceberg Lake. So we park on the side of the beach here so we can make a quick escape if needed to. Run up the mountain in very dangerous territory. See a Daedon flying off the hill. And then realize there are way too many degenerates for me to continue this mission. So we head back home. Make up some cementing paste, as well as some spark powder. And we are finally able to craft our saddle for a rusty spoon. So we saddle him up. And run down the beach to give him a quick test drive. And he does a very impressive 57 damage. And 86 damage on the bipedal mode. So with our new mount, I finally felt brave enough to head to the iceberg. And noticing that Megs don't aggro to Spinos, getting the brute artifact should be fairly easy. But anyways, we head through the swamp towards the iceberg. Have a quick look around. And not finding any Spinos, we head back to shore. And make our way back to the beach towards Lava Island. Anyways, making it up the hill near the Pearl Lake, we find this fine specimen. So I assess the area. Notice there's not too many degenerates. However, this little toxic asshole was a little bit too close. So we place down the trap. So we launch an arrow straight into her ribcage. And get her in the trap. As you can see, she is pretty PO'd at this point. And then she almost sends me and Rusty Spoon to the Shadow Realm. We then proceed to launch 46 arrows into her butt. And then another toxic heathen decided to start beefing with my gates. So I then launched some arrows into him, but then realized it'd probably be better to knock the Spino out first. So after a few more bedtime stories, she was finally unconscious. We then get rid of this degenerate. And then we realized it would take way too long using just raw meat. And then I remembered there was a lead sickness down below. And those of you that don't know, you can harvest raw prime fish meat right off the side of them. Just like so. So we got our gourmet fish fillets and shoved them down the Spino's esophagus. A few minutes later, she was brainwashed. I mean, tamed. And we gave this Rex Jurassic Park 3 flashbacks and then headed back home. Named our new friend Mama Spoon. Crafted up a fabricator, as well as some Pokeballs. Got some gasoline crafting in the forge. Saddled up Mama Spoon and decided to head to Skull Island. Made an attempt to jump scare our friend, but he wasn't home, unfortunately. So we then decided to scare him on this beach on his way back. And I eradicated the local trilobite population. Then I headed into this cave because I knew that there was some easy cave drops inside. Wiped out some of the residents. Got a very nice crossbow out of this blue drop. Went back to my not so humble abode and decided it was time to move again. So I picked up all the structures. And we then moved very, very slowly to our new base location. So we placed down our floor. As well as our bed. We built up our wall. Angered the local beavers by stealing their cementing paste. and then proceeded to wipe out the entire generation. Got some electronics for a generator. Gathered some metal. Got a pretty nice kite and leggings BP out of this drop. Angered the non-existent beavers. Crafted up some foundations. Gathered some more metal. Decided it was time to get an egg for Mama Spoon. Placed it down by the forge. And it popped out triplets. Boy, Rusty Spoon's child support is about to be through the roof. And with the better breeding mod, I hadn't realized it, but any levels that I put into the Spinos also got put onto the babies. I do disable the mod after a bit because that's kind of broken. We name one of them Papa Spoon. And name another one Weighted Spoon, because I will only be pumping weight into this one. And then Attack Spoon, because it will only be leveled in a melee and will be my fighter and cave dweller. We head to Skull Island on foot for some obsidian while the babies are raising. Gather some obsidian. Murdered a robot for its electronics. Crafted up some polymer. And got ourselves a fridge for storing eggs. Crafted some cables to power the fridge. And we placed down our crop pot and planted some narco berries. Gathered a little more metal so we can make a trough. We then made a behemoth gate to block off the other entrance. I crafted the mutation pot for a mutation kibble. And after placing this down, I kind of thought it would be a little too overpowered, but honestly, I was only able to craft the superior kibble, so it really wasn't that OP. It still took me a very long time to get mutations, so at this time I was thinking, how could I get extraordinary kibble? I could not. We then crafted ourselves a regular cooking pot so that we can make the kibble in the first place. If you could tell, I've never really actually spent the time to make kibble before. Most of the servers I played on had kibble in drops. So we just kind of looked at this stuff and figured out how it worked. And I crafted a whole air conditioner for hatching eggs. Made a few more crop plots and planted some potato seeds. We placed our toilet for fertilizer. And then proceeded to pick butches until we got citronelle seeds, which are basically just lemons. Planted those in 2 of the other plots. Right at a beaver's home. And made a rare mushroom seed. As well as a couple more crop plots, we do also make a rare flower seed. And when I planted this parasaur, decided it wanted to become the center of attention. Good job, buddy. Good job. Then when I returned, something aggroed my Spinos, and they kind of scattered. So I whistled passive to get them to stop. Realized one was missing, and I knew one of them had fallen down the hole in my base that leads down to the cave we were in earlier. Take a look around just to be sure. And I can't really see the bottom of the cave without standing over it. So I crafted some grapples. And Ark Survival descended my way down the cave. Sure enough, attack Spinos just chilling down there. And trying not to aggro the rabies-filled degenerates that are hanging on the side of the cave, I carefully dropped down. There's a few too many megalanias here for my liking. We then aggroed some 8-legged freaks. Tried our very best to kind of swing over to attack Spoon, but wasn't really working. Took a couple hits, and I didn't really have any arrows on me to defend myself. Why I didn't whistle neutral sooner, I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I accidentally whistle passive and then I whistle neutral. Eventually they do accidentally hit attack spoon and they get evaporated. Except for this little scorpion. So I give him a punch and attack spoon sends him straight to the Shadow Realm. So I put him in his Pokeball. And head back up to the base. Grab a weighted spoon. Examine our crops. And we go and do a quick metal run. I also completely eviscerate a Bronto family solely for their hide. We head on back. Grab another egg from Mama Spoon, and then this time I do have the breeding mod disabled. So this will actually come out as the correct level. And give the baby some meat so it'll survive. Go on another metal run. We return to base. And I feel like gathering some cementing paste. So we'll transfer all the metal. Notice a baby has hatched while we were gone. Get that metal smelting. Throw out attack spoon. Saddle him up. Grab us some cementing paste from the beaver dams. And then proceed to wipe out their entire new generation. Grab some more cementing paste. Get rid of the rest of the beavers. We also kill some tiny armed and winged degenerates. As well as an alpha raptor. We dispatch another Bronto. And then return home with plenty of meat for the trough. And my crops are doing quite well. weren't quite ready to defecate yet, so they will have to wait on some fertilizer. So I load the trough with that meat. And then took a trip to the Arctic to slaughter some innocent bystanders and their children for organic polymer. Now, the ideal method for this is to use a chainsaw, but I really didn't feel like putting in all that work. So with all of that organic polymer acquired, we then return home. Grab another egg from Mama Spoon. And this one hatched into twins. And I then wanted to go caving and collect the first two artifacts, so I got a tack spoon, headed to the lava cave. Since this is probably the easiest cave, we then do some questionable acrobatics. And those of you that don't know, you can avoid fall damage by jumping off and then mounting your tame again. So we landed safely. And then absolutely annihilated the 47 bouncers at the front door. And Tack Spoon was still doing pretty good on HP. Then place down some sleeping bags, just in case something were to happen. Then got a very nice black helmet DP out of this drop. And we headed down, got our first artifact. Then headed to the opposite end of the cave to grab our second. And this drop was also atrocious, minus a decent ghillie gauntlets. We had to get rid of a few degenerates. Then we got our second artifact. Made it back, and some more bouncers had spawned at the front door. So naturally, we eviscerated them. So now this was my attempt to get out of the cave. Ended up making a very, very stupid mistake. I grappled up. And then I stupidly shot at a wall that was way too far and wasted about 3 grapples on the way down, nearly killing myself. So with no other options, we had to aggro one of the megalanias that were up on the wall. We took off our armor just to prevent it from getting evaporated. Took our crossbow and shot that man off the wall. And then my stupidity ended in our first death of the run. So I respawned. And yes, I still have the thing on my wrist. Crafted some more grapples, as well as another crossbow. Grabbed a weighted spoon. Made our way back. And then proceed to almost send weighted spoon to the Shadow Realm. Yeah, somehow we lagged back up on that ledge, but it's fine. Oh, once we were down safely, got our stuff back. And then we actually got out successfully this time. We threw out attack spoon. We started to make our way back. On the way, we disposed of a Alpha Carno pretty easily. When I finally got back home, I made a tree sap tap for later, as well as some more forges to speed up the metal smelting process. Threw out a weighted spoon and went on another metal run. unloaded all the metal, and made a tree platform and some ladders. And we headed off to the redwoods so we could start getting some sap. Placed down the sap taps and just kind of patiently waited for some sap to show up. And once we made it back home, I did decide to use the sap to make a redwood seed, which makes sap. This mod is pretty cool. I also decided to make a black pearl seed. Made sure we made a couple more crop plots. And the only thing I use the black pearls for is to make a mining drill. So we relieved ourselves, added some fertilizer to the crop plot. And then I made up some greenhouse structures to speed up the crop growth. This is kind of an unconventional greenhouse, but it does work, so it is what it is. Gathered some crystal to make some more roofs. Also made a chainsaw to upgrade our hide, wood, and electronic gathering. We got some silica pearls from Lava Island. And crafted an egg incubator at home. As well as a preserving bin to make some kibble. Well, start making jerky for kibble. Grabbed a few black pearls out of the crop. Crafted ourselves a mining drill. Went on a pretty good metal run. While trying to make kibble, I did light myself on fire. Then we made our first mutation kibble. It does make a stack of 5, which is pretty nice. Fed one of them to each of the female Spinos. Enabled mating on Papa Spoon. Then we actually got a health and an oxygen mutation on the first try. Then crafted up a bunch of arrows because we were planning on doing some more caves so I can make some grapples. got in a fight with some bugs. And then saw a very measly 47 cementing paste in a beaver dam. Decided it wasn't worth it and went back home. We hatched those 2 Spino eggs. And raided a slightly better beaver dam. And then dispatched the homeowner. And then I kind of decided it was time to start looking for another base spot. And I thought these runes looked pretty cool. But honestly, I was kind of after something even bigger than this. Just a little bit more room. Then we decided to do a actually very pointless cave run because we don't need the artifact in this cave. But we went for the artifact of the Skylord, which is in the Snow South Cave. Upon entering, I realized that nothing really aggroes to the Spino in here. And the only things that really get pissed when you come near them are Harambe's cousin at the bottom of the ramp. Oh, we made quick work of him. So we made our way through the cave, carefully avoiding degenerates. And destroying any yiddies that stood in our way. And now we had the artifact of the Skylord, which, like I said, we don't even need, so this cave run was pointless. So once we made it back home, I went scouting for a new spot again. First had to check on a few things and made sure we had kibble crafting. And I really like these runes. That's why I kind of came back and looked at them, but it just wasn't enough. Then I remembered a spot that kind of took me back to old Ark days. Kind of take a quick look around the ruins here. I remembered Double Bear Cave. Oh, we broke the stone to get inside. Ran up the little ramp. And proceeded to fall off the cliff. And you know, I really like this spot. Could fit a nice crafting station in this area, then have all the room down below to breed. This will do nicely. So we went back and physically assaulted some more beavers. Rob them of their belongings. Made another mutation kibble. Got everyone into their Pokeballs. Picked up all of my stuff. Well, as much as I could carry the first trip. Loaded it on the weighted spoon. And we headed off to our new home. After face stomping a dodo, went and placed one of our storage boxes inside the cave. Now when you're moving base locations, the S Plus Omni tool is very helpful because it allows you to transfer items from one thing's inventory to another. Like so. And I went and foundationed off the cave. And then proceeded to evict its residents. And we finished placing our foundations. This is to block any spawns inside the cave. Found a couple stragglers. Now we had to make a few trips back and forth. So it took me a little while. Made sure we picked up absolutely everything. Even all the fertilizer. Accidentally broke our toilet, but it is what it is. We loaded what we could on the weighted spoon. Made a very slow trip back. Had to make a few more storage boxes. We transferred everything we could into these. We had one more trip to do. Weighted spoon did not have enough weight to carry all of the metal, so he needed a little help from his brother. So we made it back and placed down our crafting stations. Starting with some foundations and our fabricator, as well as our forges. And our fridge and generator. Made a couple lamps to lighten it up in here. So now that we could actually see, we somewhat organized it in here. Placed down a couple more things, as well as our bed. Laid down and prepared to finish building the next day. Well, we placed down our gates, and you guys can enjoy yourselves a nice little building montage. So once we were done, we threw out our breeder Spinos. Placed down our egg incubator. And let the Spinos do their business. And we needed a male with the health mutation. So we threw out Papa Spoon. And we got another female. Oh well, double the chances. And we did finally hatch a male. And went back to the Arctic to slaughter the millennial generation of penguins. Finally crafted up an indie forge. We also had enough stuff to make a grill, so I did that as well. Oh, I needed to make a spot for the forge, so I grabbed some walls from a storage box. As soon as I could find them. Placed down our forge, and now we could smelt metal at 20 times the speed. Now it was time to do another cave. Decided to just rip the band-aid off and go for the parkour cave. And let me tell you, this thing frustrates me so much, but I had to get it done. We walked inside, got through the cave lag, ran down the ramp, noticed some degenerates. So I threw out attack spoon and sent both Spider-Man and Batman and his twins to the Shadow Realm. Now, Attack Spoon was too fat to fit through the door, so I had to put him back in his Pokeball. And then we throw him out again once we see all of the nice cave degenerates down below. So we go down to the ramp below and go all the way down to the lake at the bottom. When I was down here, I realized I needed to grapple up to the top. The water down here is very bouncy for some reason. So we grappled up, missed a couple times, and potted up our gravity-defying Spino.
Screw gravity.
We made it up reluctantly, and this cave does not let you use grapples past a certain point. I'll show you here in a second. Right through here, you can't use them. So you actually have to do this parkour unless you have a climbing pick, which I do not. because this is not aberration and you need gems to make a climbing pick. We place down our storage box as well as our bed and prepare ourselves. We made it past the first couple of jumps. And then I noticed this completely useless cave drop. And then proceeded to fall to my death. This is off to a great start. So we respawned. Tried again. And fell on literally the very next jump. Now this next run we actually made pretty good progress. Now we almost made it to the end on this one. My hands were literally shaking the entire time. This is only my third attempt, so my confidence was low but also high at the same time. I'm just going to leave all of this in so that you guys can kind of see where to go if you're doing this. And we also found another very useless supply drop.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
After that, we proceeded further. And at this point, my hands were shaking like a chihuahua who just took 4 shots of caffeine. But I kept going, and I knew we were nearing the end. And I just had to go a little further. You do actually take quite a bit of fall damage doing this. But it's not normally enough to kill you depending on how much health you have. Now this jump is kind of sketchy because you can kind of bump the side and then it just throws you off. Same with this one, you can hit your head up above if you don't drop on the right spot. Now being here, my confidence was at an all-time high because we were real close. And then this happens. I then proceeded to die over and over and over. Thought I was making progress, and then that happened. Yep, this is this cave for you. All that until finally we had the run. You can see by all the beams how many times we've died. And I did actually almost die to fall damage this run. Now on that one, for some reason, I forgot to sprint jump and lost even more health to fall damage. Only a couple jumps left. Last one. We finally made it. Now the issue is getting down without taking more fall damage, because I'm really low on health. And we made it, and were rewarded greatly for our efforts.
Nice.
So with a shotgun, BAP, and artifact in hand, we can get out of this hellhole. Pick up our stuff, make it back home. I crafted some scuba because we need it for 3 other artifacts. We were feeling pretty antsy, so we took a tack spoon out to Snow North Cave, which hosts 2 artifacts that we require. Made it down the ramp. Slaughtered Harambe's brothers. And this is the part you need the scuba for. Once we made it up onto the right side, proceeded through the cave and got rid of some other degenerates, blocking up the stairs we needed to take up. Got a nice fur chest piece from that cave drop. Threw it on. The only thing guarding the artifact was a saber tooth. Sent him to the Shadow Realm, picked up our artifact, and then proceed to head to the other side of the cave. Now this side is the easy side. It's just kind of a long trek. There's only a couple of Yetis at the end. And just like the drop down inside of Lava Cave, perform some more questionable acrobatics. Avoid some fall damage. And we go all the way to the end. Now normally there's some cave drops in this side too. Unfortunately, none had spawned. So once we made it back home, we broke the rock that was blocking our path, crafted up a chemistry bench for some spark powder and gunpowder for shotgun shells. Headed up to the volcano for some obsidian. We can craft some polymer. And on the way back, this happened.
Hello there.
Don't know why I tried to stay and fight. I knew deep down this was not going to end well. Weighted Spoon is doing good damage, but I knew it just wasn't going to be enough. These Alpha Rexes do a lot of damage and they are very, very tanky. So I then tried to flee to get back to the water hole. Weighted Spoon's health was rapidly declining. This was very close, but we do actually make it right on time before Weighted Spoon becomes a wreck sandwich. Made it to the beach across the way and assessed the damage. He had less than 1,000 health left. That was way too close. So we made it back, crafted our hard-earned poly, then crafted ourselves our Mastercraft shotgun. Threw out Attack Spoon. We made our way over to Pearl Caves, which, funny enough, is on the island where I almost just got murdered at. We came here to collect one of the remaining 2 artifacts that we needed to fight the boss. We ran inside, shotgun ready. Prepared as I'll ever be for whatever this game has to throw at us. Fired at the Serpentine bodyguards. And what's really funny is this game makes them think they are too big to fit in here. They just kind of slither around in circles, trying to get to you. So once we got rid of the snake population, we witnessed a spider do a disappearing act. Anyway, threw out Attack Spoon and wiped out all of the toxic degenerates in the cave. We got our prized artifact. I wanted to see what was on the other side of the cave, and I got jump scared by a snake. So I ran, threw out Attack Spoon, and then deleted everything in here from existence. Then kited the rest of the idiots off the cliff. Getting a few kills in the process. And down there I was disappointed again.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just
Once we got back, we hatched up another baby spoon. Oh, I fucked up. So yeah, I had logged off and forgot to turn the server off. We went from day 30 to day 74 without doing anything. So yeah, my plan was to still beat at least the Gamma boss on day 100, which I was pretty confident I would be able to do. And so the next little while was basically just going to be spent breeding and looking for a Spino saddle blueprint. This is my first ever 100 days, so I'm still kind of getting used to the format, I guess. But anyway, we start heading towards the Brute artifact, which is in the middle of the ocean. It is our final artifact that we need to grab. So we make our way towards Blue Ob. arrived at the beach facing towards the artifact, and swim out to the dive spot. Now I'm gonna leave the trip down in there to kind of show you guys where it's at. So you'll want to dive at around 68.92 and just keep going down. I do gamma up here so it's a little bit easier to see. Almost nothing aggroes to Spinos down here, so it was pretty easy. Keep in mind, jellyfish will still aggro to everything. Then you'll see this big cliff edge. You'll want to follow that down. And you'll see some bioluminescent plants. Follow those down, and it will lead you to kind of a cave. I don't know why my Spino is doing some sort of little glitchy thing in the water here, but it's fine. There's the cave that I'm talking about. If you stick to the left, the brute artifact area is lit up green on the left side over here. You'll see it just to my left there. And there it is. So we return back home. And we get to breeding. We get some 0-0 females for the health line. Now, if you guys want me to make a video kind of explaining the breeding in this game, I definitely can. I know Syntac kind of already has a breeding 101 video out, so wouldn't really make much sense, but if you guys want to, I'll make one. We then completely evaporate the inhabitants of a small island. Place a greenhouse that never gets used. Quite literally, it does not get used. This was pointless. We make an industrial cooker. And now you guys can enjoy a montage of me making another questionable irrigation system. And after setting that up so we can make kibble much faster, we were breeding the Spinos. So basically, the rest of the days are going to consist of breeding and getting mutations. And searching for a Spino saddle, we make another trip to Lava Cave. Almost kill a tax spoon again, trying to use the inventory glitch that existed on console but not on PC. We eviscerate the 337 bouncers at the front door and send the scorpion flying off the cliff to his death. We heal up a bit. Healing does take quite a long time, using raw meat. Accidentally fed him some berries. And after being disappointed, we return home, and I decided to log off for the day, so when we come back we can do some more drop hunting. And the next day, I was going to head out to Pearl Cave to look for drops. We made our way down. Double checked our trough, made sure it had some food. Fell off the cliff. Threw out a tack spoon. And then on the way there, I noticed a red drop across the way. And I figured, why not take a look? And lo and behold, it has exactly what we needed. Now it was a little spendy on fiber and hide, but I can work with it. So I placed it in the smithy. Kind of calculated everything I would need. And then we did get a new health and melee mutation. And that will give you guys quite a nice farming montage for the saddles. And after farming all the hide we would need, went to Lava Island for some silica pearls, took down my inferior, ridded the pond of some fish-like heathens, and now it was time for a battle of revenge. Against an old enemy. Very well deserved victory for Attack Spoon. I then harvest all of the silica pearls in the pond. As well as the pond up above. Went into Pearl Cave, had to delete some degenerates first. There was a spider inside the wall. After clearing the cave, minus the wall imprisoned degenerate, we gathered all the pearls in the area. I did have to make 2 trips back here because the first one was not enough. And then I did also go back and raid all the beaver dams again, and I wasn't recording, so yeah, go me. Anyway, we had enough stuff to make all 20 Mastercraft saddles. But I needed a mind wipe tonic, so we threw out our health breeders, got a new health mutation, swapped them out, and let them do their business. This is also another melee mutation. So yeah, this is what the next few days looked like. And pretty much any babies that didn't make the cut, well, you know. So we made ourselves a drug to wipe our memory. Once we took it, I leveled everything in the crafting skill. Now we crafted all 20 Spino saddles. Some good, some not that great, but we'll work with it. We also decided to craft up some of that armor. reset our memory, put our stats back to normal, place down a soul terminal to automatically pick up the babies when they hatch. We got some more eggs from the health line. And we got a new health mutation. Now, skipping ahead, finally got our stats where we want them. Day 89, we have 55 points into health. Figured that was a good place to stop. As well as 55 points into melee. So we threw out our health mail. And we needed to combine these stats, and we needed a male with the combined stats. Now this did take a few tries, but eventually we got one. And we made sure to take the one with the color so that at least some of our boss fighters will have purple. So we threw him out in the middle of the females to let him raise up. I need 20 of his children to become war slaves, heroes. So we put them to work. Made sure we got all 20 mixed male and female for mate boost. And once we had all 20 of them grown, it was now day 95. And it was time to level them up. So I used all of the babies that didn't make the cut. And that's how we level up the boss Spinos. We crafted up some gunpowder for some more shotgun shells. Grabbed our artifacts. Kind of took a slow walk down because this took me a very long time. We said goodbye to Mama Spoon. Pulled out our shotgun and set off towards Blue Ob. Of course, we had to run into some degenerates on the way. Made it back to our raft. Took a short trip across the ocean. We also took a chomp from a lead that decided to have beef with the boat again. Skirted past him, and then took another chomp. This one, I decided to put him in his place, put a few shotgun shells in his belly. Notice a corpse launch.
Ooh, that brother's floating in the air.
Anyways, made it up to the terminal, placed the artifacts in. And at the end of day 99, we threw out all of our Spinos. Realize some of them are still healing. So I throw them out as they reach full health. They do heal a lot faster in the soul balls than they do outside with like raw meat. So we just left them in. Now I've set all of the Spinos to 25k health and around 700 something melee. So I'm fairly confident we can pretty easily do this fight. In the middle of throwing them out, we did reach day 100. Finished throwing them all out, and we're as ready as we're gonna be, so we jump right into it. My plan for this, I have to go and lead Papapithecus over so that we can fight him before the Broodmother. Just so that we only have to fight one at a time, because if we fight both of them, we may end up losing. So I put a shotgun to his face to keep his aggro. He starts beelining towards me. I get a little turned around. I haven't played in this arena in forever. Make our way back up to the Spinos, and I realize he's not following me anymore. So I have to go and kite him back. But anyways, I'm going to be quiet now, and I'm just going to let y'all enjoy the fight. We did it. Finally. Once we were teleported back I potted up all the Spinos and set on the journey back home. Very proud of everything. Now, I definitely could have done that on at least beta, but with time constraints, I had to do gamma. But either way, we still did it. Challenge complete. Let me know if you guys want to see me do this again on a different map, because this was a lot of fun and it took a very long time to make and then edit. I hope you guys liked it, because I definitely did. My first ever 100 days challenge, it was solid. I have no complaints. So, I would like to definitely do something like this very soon. But I have another series that I plan on doing. Once that is done, we'll probably give something like this another attempt. So let me know what you guys would want to see. And I'm open to anything. So, any challenge, however hard. But, anyway, we finally make it back home. Take note of our very makeshift irrigation system. We pot up a tack spoon. Run up the cave. It's where we kind of just say goodbye to everything. It's a very long journey. We put all of our Spinos into the soul terminal. Pull out Rusty Spoon. Throw him out next to Mama Spoon so that he can end with the one he began with. Now, we actually didn't have any Spino deaths this whole run, which is very surprising. We give Rusty Spoon his well-deserved levels. And with that, guys, that's it. Really hope y'all enjoyed. I will be seeing everybody in the next one. Peace.